This video, I'm going to show you how to go beyond intention into a totally new paradigm. This is something that is more powerful than the way you've been going about creating what you want in your life, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make this shift. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that of understanding a paradigm that is more powerful than anything I've shared before. And I think that when I look, at least what I notice when I look at my YouTube channel, I look at different stages of where I am when I'm sharing certain content. So it's like as I go through this shift in awareness myself, my content on YouTube is also reflecting of that. And a long time ago, it would have been more so just purely law of attraction based. Create your own reality, set intentions. A lot of even my content now will still have undertones of this, of understanding the power of intention in general, but there's something more powerful than intention itself. It's a new paradigm that I'll be sharing with you today, and it has to do with understanding really who we are. And not only who we are, but the way we relate to the world. Because what we think of on the outside is actually just a reflection. And the more we start to understand this, that everything we think is happening out there is actually happening within us, we then start to see life in a completely new way. And we start to align more of the divine to flow through us. Because I believe that the reason we come to have an earth experience where we forget who we are is so that we can remember that we are these divine spiritual beings living temporary human experiences. Now, intention though is one of a powerful spot along the process. Wherever you are, like maybe you've seen people or even yourself, maybe when you first learned about the law of attraction, you started to set more intentions, you started to focus, and you started to experiencing more of what you want. You started having these synchronicities come into your life. And it was a very powerful time. And now maybe sometimes you have to remind yourself, like I do sometimes, like, oh yeah, I need to set intentions or focus on certain things. And that is a powerful paradigm. However, what I've been coming to learn over the last, I would say, 6 months now, is I've been seeing that the higher level paradigm has to do with tapping into more of who we are as spiritual beings, because the universe, whatever we want to call it, the universe wants to flow through us. I think the reason a lot of people may like to watch my YouTube videos is because there's a certain state that I get into when I make these videos, and that state is kind of contagious. So people feel that. But it's not like the ego Aaron is the one making all these videos. It's a flow state that allows this energy to flow through, and we all have the ability to do this. It's not like I'm special because I make videos on YouTube about it. We all have the ability to have this kind of energy flow through in different ways. Maybe it's not all making YouTube videos. But the more we become aware that we are a part of this larger consciousness system, that there is these higher frequencies that want to flow through, is the more we learn how to surrender to a larger energy. This goes beyond the traditional way of understanding that of intention and understanding that of how to really wake up to the most divine versions of ourselves. Because when we start to take our power back in a certain way, we start to realize that not just us, we are divine, but everything in our life is divine as well. And it might sound kind of cliche, it might sound kind of like a blanket statement, but the truth is, the more we become aware of this, is the more we begin to heal from the inside out. Now what I thought I would do real quick is I thought I would show you on this board. I am going to write down on this board the 3 levels of intention I want to show you real quick. So, when we look at this, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around. You'll see this right here. Let's do 3 levels of intention. This will make it a little bit easier to understand. So, 1, 2. The first level of intention is actually more of, in a way, a lack of intention. This is the autopilot mind. Autopilot mind. This is thinking the same thoughts every day, doing the same things every day, feeling the same emotions every day, therefore creating the same things over and over and over again. This is also where a lot of people don't know that they create their own reality, and they're just, in a way, victim of circumstance. They're living maybe even in victim mode. But then what happens is many people may go through a certain type of awakening. And that awakening may include understanding that of the law of attraction, and that you can set intentions deliberately. Deliberately. When you start to set intentions deliberately, you will start to get better results. You will start to see that the law of attraction is something that is real, something that is just the way reality works. And that, for many people, will be a certain stage of consciousness that people stay at for a very long time. And it's a great place to be. Most of the videos on my YouTube channel are about from going to 1 to 2. Going from the autopilot mind into that of intention setting deliberately. And this will get you very far. There's a certain stepping stone. But here's the thing. There is a third level. The third level is that of the divine. I'm going to say the divine flowing through. You know what I mean? Through. And for the divine flowing through, what happens is, imagine it like we are these divine spiritual beings, and we are connected to this source energy. We call it source. And this source energy is what we are. But then what happens is we start to think that we are these avatar bodies that we live in, which we use for a period of time. But then we're in the autopilot mind, so we're doing the same things every day, feeling the same emotions every day, and then therefore getting the same results every day. Then we become aware that we can deliberately set our intentions, go beyond that which we've gone before. But then what we eventually realize is that we are divine spiritual beings, and that there's energy flowing through us, because what happens is we then are able to impact and give value to other people. We all have a purpose for being on earth. So the part of this that I want to really share with you is understanding that you are a divine being. And when you start to allow, this is where you could start to surrender. You could surrender. This is where you could start to let go. And the reason you can do that is because when you trust in the universe itself, it then flows through easier. It's just that a lot of times when we're in the autopilot mind, there's so much subconscious stuff that is holding us back that we're not actually able to get exactly where we want to go. Or it's like we have these internal blocks that just keep us in the same pattern of thinking over and over and over again. So I'll switch this back around now. So the key to this is understanding who we really are as source beings, as high vibrational beings, and the more we realize this is the more we change our life. This is what they may call getting to the void, getting to zero, becoming the infinite, becoming empty. These are things that we hear a lot of times when it comes to enlightenment. But when we start to allow this to happen, we start to get into a flow state, and especially when we're doing what we're passionate about, we get out of the ego's desire. A lot of this is ran by the ego, and this is when we start to act with the ego, but in concert with the universe itself. And this is a more powerful paradigm that I'm learning about. I'm starting to experience in my own life, is this shift into the present moment. This shift into what you could call the void. But understand that everything as well that we think is on the outside is actually coming from the inside. I sometimes think of it like a projection, like almost like a projector screen. It's like we are projecting this reality outside of us. And if we want to change anything on the outside, we must first off change that of what is on the inside. But most people go about it the reverse way. They try to change the reflection on the mirror first. Now the reason this is important to understand is that we start to take our power back when something like this happens, when something happens in general. And we take our power back by taking responsibility, by understanding the truth about who we are, and where problems come from. Because problems only come from within us. Us labeling something as a problem. Us noticing a problem in someone else. And then we see that the problem doesn't come from anyone else. It comes from us. It comes from our identification with the problem itself. It comes with us identifying it, and it's us taking responsibility for that is taking responsibility for our judgment and our perspective as to what's happened in the world that's wrong, or what's happening or someone else is doing or being. And when we start to heal within ourselves by seeing ourselves as whole and complete, seeing ourselves as divine, and seeing something we don't like on the outside and realizing that we're creating that. We create everything in our life from our perception. And if we want to change anything, we must first off ask ourselves, what is this reflecting inside of me, and how can I clear this from inside of me? This is when we start to allow the divine to flow more through. Because think of it like there's these high vibrational frequencies that always want to come through us, but we cause these blockages because of these judgments we have. There's judgments we may put on the present moment. There's judgments we might have about other people. And that causes a lot of resistance. So the key then becomes clearing those judgments. Clearing the lower vibrational energies that are keeping us stuck in a certain paradigm. And the more that we do this is the more that we allow this divine energy to flow through. And I'll tell you from experience, the more you are able to allow this divine energy to flow through by surrendering to it, the more amazing things will begin to happen. Think of it like this. The best case scenario that your ego can imagine is the floor to your higher mind. Your higher mind is what wants to flow through you. Your higher mind is giving you synchronicity, giving you different ways and opportunities for you to allow this to flow through. And the key to it is being aware of it and allowing it and trusting it and knowing that it may be even better than what you think your ego can imagine. So understand that there are different levels to this. You could also say that these different levels are different levels of consciousness as well, in a way. But the more you're able to recognize the divine within yourself and the divine in what you could call other people, but remember, there really is no other people. There's just reflections of ourself in reality. When we start to understand that, that's when amazing things can be happening. That's when you start to become more selfless, but also selfish at the same time. It's a very funny paradox. Because when you add value to other people, you're adding value to other aspects of yourself. So in a way, it's selfish. But the paradox of that is, of course, at the same time, it's selfless. But think of it like, as well, there's this larger consciousness system that we also are. We're just playing this part right now as this 3D avatar person. And the more value we put out into the world, it's almost like the more energy is sent our way that we can generate to keep helping other people. So the more we have a divine intention to allow this to flow through, divine intention for us to help other people, to add value, is the more that, it's almost like the more the universe wants to help. The more the universe wants to add value. So this is the key to the whole process. The key to the process is setting intentions because they are powerful. But understanding there's a level more powerful than that, and that is surrendering and getting to a state of presence, becoming present to the moment. Understanding, recognizing the divinity within you, and knowing that there is no outside. What we perceive of on the outside is interpreted on the inside of us. And we would have to first off agree to something for us to have some type of experience. If someone were to call us a name, we would have to agree to that reality. We would have to recognize that at a certain level and realize that we were creating it. We're creating it because it's happening within us. Even our eyes that are, understand that our eyes that are looking at things outside of us, that's happening within our own mind. It's happening within our own head. The eyes are picking up on different reflections, interpreting the information, and making it appear as if it's out there, but it's actually in here. So the key to this is understanding that it's all within. It's all divine, it's all perfect, and the paradox is surrendering to the divinity you are by recognizing it, by taking responsibility for it, and then by clearing it. And one of the most powerful ways you could do that was with a process called Ho'oponopono, which I have a video on. I'll link it below. You can listen to that meditation. It's a meditational exercise you can put on the background. You can listen to it for 21 days. I think it'll change your life if you do that. It'll change your energy field, that's for sure. And as you let go of some of the things that don't serve you, you're going to allow space for much more amazing things to happen. So I'll go and put that in the top of the description box below. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification gear so you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.